and picture the African savanna. What do you see? Lions prowling? Elephants marching? Vast herds of wild beasts. Now, what if I told you that millions of years ago, the true rulers of this landscape weren't on the ground, but soaring high above? Today, we're journeying back in time to uncover the story of a lost world, a time when a magnificent eagle kingdom held dominion over the plains. Forget everything you think you know about prehistoric predators, because the sky itself held the ultimate power, long before the rise of humanity. Even before some of the iconic megafauna we know today. The skies belonged to a lineage of truly colossal birds of prey. We're talking about eagles with wingspans that would dwarf any modern bird. Eagles that didn't just hunt rabbits and fish, but targeted prey as large as prehistoric antelope and the young of giant mammals. This wasn't just a scattered population of birds. Evidence suggests these were highly organized, territorial creatures that carved up the vast savanna into their own fifth, an empire of the air. So, what was the king of this kingdom? Let's call it the savanna sovereign eagle. While this isn't a formal scientific name, it helps us imagine this apex predator. Fossil fragments found across parts of Africa hint at birds of prey far larger than today's crowned eagle, the continent's most powerful living ego. We're imagining a bird standing nearly as tall as a person, with talons the size of a grizzly bear's claws. These weren't just for show. They were precision instruments of death, capable of delivering a crushing force that could end a struggle in seconds. Their hunting strategy would have been a spectacle of breathtaking power and efficiency. Picture a pair of these giant eagles, soaring on thermal up, their eyesight so sharp they could spot a young vulnerable calf from miles away. They wouldn't engage in a long, drawn-out chase on the ground. Instead, they would use a tactic of aerial coordination. One eagle might dive not to strike, but to scatter a herd, creating confusion and isolating a target. Then, its partner would execute the attack. A silent, terrifying stoop from the heavens, plummeting at speeds over 150 miles per hour. The impact alone would be devastating. There was no escape. For the creatures of the savanna, danger didn't just lurk in the tall grass. It rained down from the sky. The nests of these eagles would have been fortresses, not flimsy collections of twigs, but massive structures, some possibly spanning over 10 feet wide, built high in the inaccessible crags of rocky outcrops or atop the most ancient, gigantic baobab trees. These weren't just nurseries, they were dynastic seats of power, used by generations of the same eagle family. From these high perches, they would have surveyed their territory, a kingdom stretching for hundreds of square miles. The ground below was their larder, and they were the undisputed masters. Each nest was a capital in its own miniature empire. Life under the Eagle Kingdom was a constant state of high alert for the ground dwellers. Early hominids, our own distant ancestors, like Australopithecus, would have been on the menu. The famous tongue-child skull, discovered in South Africa, shows puncture marks that perfectly match the talons of a large eagle. This is chilling. Direct evidence that our own evolutionary journey was shaped by the threat from above. Our ancestors learned to fear the sky, to seek shelter in caves and dense thickets, always watching for the shadow of wings. This constant aerial threat may have even spurred social cooperation and the development of early tools for defense. The eagles were, in a way, one of our first great teachers. So what happened to this incredible empire of the sky? Why don't we see these colossal eagles ruling the Serengeti today? The answer, as is so often the case, lies in climate change. As the Earth's climate shifted over millions of years, the savanna changed with it. The vast open plains that these eagles relied on began to transform. Forests may have expanded in some areas, and grasslands may have become more arid in others. This shift directly impacted their food source. The large, medium-sized mammals they specialized in hunting either migrated, evolved into different forms, or their populations declined. An apex predator is only as strong as the ecosystem that supports it. For a specialist hunter like the savanna sovereign eagle, this was a disaster. Unlike more adaptable predators that could switch to smaller prey, these giants were built for big game. Their massive size required a huge caloric intake. As their primary food sources dwindled, the eagles faced starvation. It was a slow, inexorable decline. They couldn't sustain their large bodies. Their breeding success plummeted, and over thousands of years, their kingdom crumbled. The Sky Kings were dethroned not by a rival predator, but by a changing world they couldn't adapt to. Their legacy, however, lives on. It's written in the fossil record, in the instincts of modern savanna animals that still cast a wary eye to the sky, and even, perhaps, in our own innate human fear of threats from above. The story of the Eagle Kingdom is a powerful reminder that dominance is temporary, and that even the mightiest rulers are ultimately at the mercy of the environment. The world beneath our feet is full of lost empires, but sometimes the most incredible stories of power, dominance, and eventual decline are written in the sky. It reminds us to look up and wonder what other secrets the past holds high above our heads. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. It's truly humbling to think about the incredible creatures that once inhabited our planet. If you found this as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more deep dives into the lost worlds of the past. Let me know in the comments what ancient creature you'd like to explore next. Until then, stay curious,